Hello, my sweet dear magical friends. Welcome, willkommen to your weekly horoscope and taroscope with me, Natalie, spelled Natalee, as we open up the energies of your week ahead using astrology and the tarot. Let's dive over to the 𝙆𝚘𝚝𝚗𝚕𝚗.com, the entirely new website that we've got going. This is where the flow is going, my loves. Let's go down to the Halloween edition 6-month kit. This is a very special Halloween only kit that we put together for you guys. Of course, I'm talking about myself as well as Apothecafe, PA. Go ahead and take a look at the link down below. If you guys have any herbalist questions, absolutely reach out and ask. I just ordered some great things for myself and my mother and my grandmother, health stuff wise. So very, very cool. This particular box is really focused on psychic dreams, psychic protection, and all around energy protection as well. You literally have so many things that are included with this freaking set, including the little Oogie Boogie bath bomb to literally take care of all of the Oogie Boogies in your life. Do you really need this? You need this if you have been going through anything very unusual that's not part of your normal lived experience. So if you are suffering from nightmares, if you are on an unlucky streak, if things are just kind of going wrong when you sort of projected into it that things were supposed to go well with a certain thing, if you start thinking negative thoughts out of nowhere about a person or a situation, if you have bouts of depression, all of those energy imbalances could really be directly related to some kind of psychic attack. And here's the thing, is that people don't really realize that they're psychically attacking other people. They kind of do it on a subconscious level. And then of course you have the ego witches that are really trying to like go and get at you and really trying to, you know, use magic to send things your way, and we can take care of that too. So don't worry about that. I got you covered. A limited time only. Make sure to order your box by, you know, I said the 12th because of the Saturn-Uranus square. I remember one of the last ones of 2021. That was like a huge monkey wrench in the not disruption in the production line. So I said tentatively the 12th, but I'm hearing word that we might be able to extend that out. So I think I think we're able to go until actually Friday the 14th. So let's do that. Let's do Friday the 14th and see how this goes. If you order by Friday the 14th, I believe you'll be able to get your box by Halloween. We're going to do a special unboxing where we're gonna basically, I'm gonna sit here on Halloween, we're gonna celebrate some Halloween stuff and open the box and just take it all out and just, you know, sort of go through it, which is gonna be fabulous and fun. So make sure you are liking this video, make sure you are subscribed to this channel, make sure you are toggling the notification bell, drop a comment, all of the things. Not only does this make sure that you are up to date with everything that's going on, so that you don't miss out, so that you don't, you know, miss out on your messages or on this information whenever I publish information, which is usually every day, but it also tells me specifically what you want from me. And that helps me be able to create more of the things that you actually enjoy from me, that you actually want from me. So doing all of those things helps. Okay. Let's dive into this week. I'm not sure why my hair is showing up as this color, but we're going with the flow. Oh, let's do like a really quick fit check. Guys, this weekend has been freaking amazing because, so I was really frustrated that I had to sort of catch up on all of this work. So I don't know if you guys know this dress, but it's this dress. It's this one. Look at that. Look at that. Yeah. This one. Absolutely this one. Don't mind the Godfather 2 playing in the background. It's par for the course. Super frustrated that I had to just kind of work a lot to catch up on some work stuff because I was doing a little bit of travel. However, this 3-day weekend that I took, I was able to do so much writing. Friday, Saturday was really some of the working on the things that I've already been working on, but honestly, I have these 2 shows, I have these 2 pilots, and then Sunday, today, the one I'm recording this, was all about this whole brand new idea for a spec script that I'm writing. So it's just been really, really a fun weekend. I hope you guys had a great full moon in Aries, opposing Sun and Venus in Libra, beautiful Libra. Everything's always a little bit sweeter, a little bit nicer with beautiful Libra involved. So anyway, that's a fit check. No particular reason. This is part of a Halloween costume, but I actually just love the way this looks and feels. So you guys know me, I'm partial to the Victorians. Okay, where were we? What was I even talking about? I don't remember. Let's just go ahead and dive into the week. Let's go ahead and get started with Monday, October the 10th. Where am I? This is the 9th. Here we go. There we are, the 10th of October. We do have the moon in Taurus. Love the moon in Taurus personally and generally. Moon in Taurus is so nice. So I'm calling Monday aesthetic and substance. So the moon's going to be void most of the day, and before it's void, it's going to be in Aries and it's going to make a square to Pluto. So there's actually going to be kind of a crunchy energy that we're going to oh yeah, so I got really caught up. It's just like weeks of not being able to do stuff, and then this 3-day weekend just like came out of. Okay, I did take out some time. I took like a 3-hour nap today on Sunday, and then Saturday I'm like, you guys know how I don't know any holidays except for Halloween and Christmas? Well, it's because I have my own little Natalinian holidays. So one of my little holidays is actually the 121st anniversary of the Chicago fire. So I'm going to show you the actual Mrs. O'Leary's gravestone for anyone interested. The rumor goes that Mrs. O'Leary's neighbors were stealing from her and they knocked over the lantern. She woke up middle of the night, opened the barn doors. Cows were in a way. I think they went up like Jefferson or something. They're over by Manny's. Oh, if you don't know if you guys know Manny's, a little delicatessen. Good stuff. Anyway, that's where Mrs. O'Leary's real barn was, is out by like Manny's. So anyway, yeah, so that's the real Mrs. O'Leary's. It's not, okay, just in real speak, it's not called a gravestone or a headstone. It's called a memorial. I used to be a cemeterian, and that's the respectful word to use. So I'm calling Monday, let's get back to Monday. Monday is called aesthetic and substance. So the moon's going to be void most of the day. Then later in the day, like later early evening, going to enter into the sign of Taurus. But the vibe is going to be that square to Pluto. So Sunday, Monday, people could still be just like very triggered, especially if they're feeling alienated or rejected or licking their wounds, or just really feel, if they had like a bad full moon over the weekend, then they're gonna be a little bit, a little bit whimpery-ish, but probably just like angry, like maybe like angry crying type of energy, or just like, how do I put it, like simmering, so don't stew on anything. You don't want to do that. Aesthetic and substance. So we're gonna want the aesthetic after the moon enters Taurus. Emotional comforts will be met with reassuring familiarity, but that's not going to be so easy to come by because we have the North Node in Uranus and the sign of Taurus. Also on Monday, Venus in Libra opposes Chiron in Aries. So this is a nice teachable moment. I like this a lot. Teachable moment in relationships when wounding comes into focus, and being very acutely aware of your own personal boundaries, your own personal bonds that are really fruitful, that really have a beautiful give and take. I overdid it though. I had way too much babka. It's like a Jewish Polish thing. I love it, but I just said don't, portion control. You're going to see that. I'm going to talk about it later, but portion control. I was eating it out of the whole thing. Delicious. Delicious. But too much. So that Venus opposing Chiron, it's like there's going to be some kind of little ouchie still, and it's going to be relationships. I'm calling this entire horoscope week very relationshipy, because it is. Also on Monday, Mercury will re-enter the sign of Libra. Do I have this? Hold on. I am prepared. I am. Okay. Mercury entered Libra like a bunch of times. August the 25th, September the 22nd. That was the Kazemi. And October the 11th. Is that the 11th? That is the 11th. Okay, so you can look back to around those dates, August the 25th and September the 22nd, to see what the focus was and what was coming into very sharp focus in terms of your relationships, especially if you were discussing anything with anyone, or anything of that nature. Yeah, I am still Monday. When it happens on Monday, late Monday, it's like, let's try that again. Think manners, respect, decorum. There may be some movement involved. There may be more more planning put into, maybe not put into action, so to speak, but I would say plans could have this sort of extra oomph behind it because you already had 2 passes of this. So it's like you already started thinking about it, you already started talking about it. So by the time this rolls around, it's like you're ready to be like serious about it, or you're ready to take it kind of seriously, or you're ready to at least open open the possibility, open the door, open the potentiality, especially if someone wasn't really open to it before. On Tuesday, that was October the 10th, now October the 11th. So around 10th, 11th, we're still in the shadow. We get out of the Mercury shadow at the end of the week. You say potato, I say potato, okay? Tuesday the 11th, I'm calling Fool's Gold, or did I say that? Fool's Gold. Goodness gracious, you guys. So I had a lisp growing up, and total Chiron moment. Here, let me share a little personal Chiron story, since Chiron, this is all happening in like a very visible part of my chart for me. So what I also did over this weekend was I listened to the Eminem show over again, like in full, and I looked it up. I was like, I don't even think I was in puberty. I was like maybe like 9, 10, 11, 12 or something, like around that kind of an age when the Eminem show came out. And it was right when my father and my aunt on my mother's side, they both pulled me aside and made me aware of it. They made me aware of my lisp and that I sounded different when I talked, and I had no idea. I had no idea that everyone else could see this about me and I could not see this about myself. I thought I was just, I thought whatever I was doing, it was resulting in decipherable human speech and English to other people, but I got it twice. I got it like from my mom's side and I got it from my dad's side. And I was like, oh my God, that was so, it was like very cringe, right? So the Eminem show drops, the Eminem show comes out, and I learned to rap this entire album word for word, my breathing, everything. Like I can still do it. If anyone wants to square dance with me, I can still do it. And that's what I was doing this weekend. I was just like, that's what I was doing this weekend. I was just rapping. I mean, one part of the weekend, I think that was today. I took a nap today. Whenever that happens in the middle of the day, I always feel like you just kind of like wake up in like a whole different like world. Anyway, so that helped me get rid of my lisp, though, is learning to rap the Eminem show and then rapping. And it was just so funny because I'll get to this later, but anyway, Mercury's re-entering the sign of Libra Monday, Tuesday, depending on where you are in the hemisphere. On Tuesday, Fool's Gold and Wise wins. I'm calling it because you could be chasing something. You could have like a distorted view where you're taking wrong action, or you could make some really wonderful choices for yourself, and it could lead to a very wise win. Let's talk about it. The Sun in Libra is trining over to Saturn retrograding in the sign of Aquarius. These are your goals. These are your relationships. They firm up. They get stabilized. Maybe there's some kind of like something very positive with authority figures. You might be the authority. There might be another authority figure involved, but it's like everyone gets to go ahead. Everything's okay. You get the blessing. It just really works out. And that's really kind of, as you're going into Tuesday, you're going to feel that, like maybe Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, you're going to be feeling this sort of, I'm going to say, stability, like a very grounding in the relationships that are really there for you, in the relationships that are very solid, that are very secure. And here's what you want to focus on. You want to focus on the integrity. Saturn rules the integrity in the relationships. So those are going to shine especially bright. We also have Mars in Gemini squaring Neptune in Pisces retrograde. Now this is like gonna be forever. Basically, it's gonna, okay, so remember in November of 2021 when I told you guys that November, December, January, February, and March were all gonna be like a time capsule time period? Well, we're doing that again with this Mars retrograde. That was it, like the end of 2021 going into the like winter, early spring of 2022 because of the Venus retrograde in Capricorn and then the Cazimi and everything like that. So this is like another little time capsule period and a big signature energy is this Mars squaring Neptune. So here's the thing. For most people that don't care about any of this stuff, most will take wrong or misguided or fear-based self-sabotaging actions because they will be deluded. They will be very confused. They may be confused. They may be deceived, outright deceived. They could be very deceptive. Or they might just, at the very best, they might just blow the opportunity to do the right thing. They may just, because of cowardice, like if they lose their nerve at the last second, it's going to be cowardice. Now, for the rest of us that are do-gooders out here, we're probably just going to be tired. There's probably going to be a lot, you know, to do. We might be like feeling like we're running in all these different directions, and, you know, that's maybe a lot of different areas of life meet us at the same time, and we're having trouble. So I did have some, when the moon was in Pisces on Friday, I did have like that moment where I thought I was ready to leave the door, walk out the door, and I didn't have my phone, and I was looking for my phone. I was like, well, I'm glad I didn't leave my phone behind. That would have been such a moon in Pisces moment, you know. And then I think that was the day that moon squared Mars in Gemini, and looking all over, couldn't find it. It was in my pocket the entire time. It was in my pocket the entire time. That's a moon in Pisces square Mars in Gemini energy. So this could be like a much higher stakes version of that, where, you know, especially if people are already super triggered, there can be something that they just react, and it's like the wrong instinct, it's the wrong reaction, it's the wrong it's the wrong impulse. And when that happens, the intuition is probably misinformed, and that can happen when you feed yourself wrong information or inaccurate information, or information that's missing crucial details, because the brain creates biases in our minds and taking shortcuts in thinking. That's why we have cognitive biases and logical fallacies. However, when you don't know to check your own biases, that's when people get themselves into trouble and end up looking a little silly in the process. So if you're tired leading up to Tuesday, that's probably what that is. And just be very careful to not just make sure you're thinking twice. Make sure that you're being very thorough. Don't try to like rush yourself, especially on Tuesday. That moon in Taurus is going to cross the North Node, and Uranus in Taurus to the other side. Love it. Absolutely love it. This is new opportunities, resources opening up to you, or exciting developments on something you've started in that Taurus area that you've been building up. Very excited for that one. Now, the moon squaring Saturn, people usually don't like that. People usually don't like that. There's some kind of, you know, emotional need that's not getting met because of like a responsibility or a bigger authority or a delay. But get creative with the delay to maximize the wait time. Now, it might not be like a timing delay. It might be just something else, or a call to be more mature, or this is like you got to gulp it down. Like, you cannot be sensitive because you have to be mature first. Being mature, answering to the situation in a mature fashion is going to be the priority. And so, you know, people might feel like they're having to like suppress their feelings or whatever, but it's integrity. I don't know if you can hear that, but it's the Godfather music playing in the background. It's the Godfather 2. I saw Godfather 2 today. So, okay, let's move on to Wednesday, October the 12th. We have, I'm calling this day wrapping up talks. Mercury opposing Jupiter retrograde. You saw this the beginning of September, September 1st, the middle of September, September the 18th, and here we are, October 11th. So around this date, around these dates, October the 11th, the 12th, whatever. So you're wrapping it up. You've been garnering information, you've been soliciting information and intel and taking in more details and just learning more, discussing, maybe having to get permission for certain things, maybe having to pitch different ideas, different types of things, new infos or or moving ahead on previous ideas and planning. This is completing the unfinished business that you may have started around September the 1st, around September, maybe moved a little bit forward, maybe nudged your piece a little bit forward on the board, September the 18th, completing unfinished business and deals and negotiations, or in the planning of certain projects. So this could be when you finally get some kind of permission, or you finally wrap up the deal, you lock down the nuts and bolts of the thing. And it's like, you know, it's really, really great for mentors and acolytes. It's really great for getting permission. It's really great for asking for permission. Just benefiting more from honoring your individual unique needs, but also being very open-minded to what the other person has to say and from the other person's perspective. That's really all week with all of this Libra Aries oppositions, whether it's Chiron or Jupiter opposing the Sun, Venus, or Mercury in Libra. It's always going to come down to that, knowing where you stand as a unique individual. You can speak your mind, but not on my time. It's my life by Billy Joel. Or, you know, the moments where you do need to meet in the middle with somebody else. And then those moments when you realize we are too far apart. We're too far apart on this and we should just go our separate ways, or we should just do a different thing. So, you know, you're wrapping it all up and you're figuring out where those lines are. The moon in Taurus is going to sextile Neptune in Pisces retrograde. I love this energy. This is very dreamy, very faith-based. Like I'm seeing this as having faith in something that's like happening. Like whatever you're talking about, it's probably really inspiring to you. It's probably fueling your imagination. So something's probably going really well and you see where this is going and you're like, you know, having all these different ideas or just saying all these different things about it. And that moon in Taurus is going to trine Pluto. I love this. I'm a moon. It happens when I talk too fast. And I talk too fast when I get too excited. I'm a moon Pluto person. So I like this. And it's a trine, so it's very, very nice. This is deep excavating emotionally. So you're feeling very intense, but it's positive. It's positive. You'll have really great access to your feelings and you won't be looking for it. You won't have to like look, you want to be like Blue's Clues and like go excavate. It's going to be like something's happening, some communication comes in or you send a message, and then it's like very, very inflamed emotionally. Inflame's the word I would use. I would want to use, but intense. Like you're just feeling it very intensely, but like for the positive. It's very, very, very positive. Okay. Thursday, the 13th, October the 13th, I'm calling this day, hold on, Thursday, I'm calling staying power. Okay, I love this because of the Venus trine Saturn. The moon is now in Gemini. Okay, the moon's now in Gemini and it's sextiling Jupiter retrograding in Aries. It's very social. It's very nice for discussions with and between mentors and acolytes or other students. You know, everyone kind of just like sharing ideas, sharing, you know, feedback, sharing all the little, you know, I picked up this information. I picked up this information. I heard this. I heard that. You know, very, very nice. And all of the little things the little details that do come up are going to help expand the bigger perspective. So you'll have like, I feel like you'll have like a place to fit all of those little, because that's Gemini. Gemini is the, you know, grooving on to the different flowers and just talking to them all. And then, you know, when they bring them back, that's up to Sagittarius to form into like the big picture of like, okay, well, what do we actually believe? What do we actually think of all this? So that's cool. Venus in Libra trines over to Saturn retrograding in Aquarius. These are both air signs, very complementary. Venus Saturn means that around this day on Thursday, later in the week, commitments that you are making could get better the longer that they exist. They don't wilt. When you have a positive, I love to see this in synastry between two people because Venus Saturn is like the glue. Saturn's always going to be the glue. So Venus Saturn is between two people. It's a glue that keeps you guys together, and it's something that once you sort of work it out in the very beginning, it tends to get easier as the relationship goes on, and it tends to get stronger as the relationship goes on. It's sort of like the hardest part might be making that commitment or getting to the commitment, and then once that kind of happens, it does its thing. I don't know how else to say it. It sort of just like does its thing. It doesn't wilt. Like I said, it's you know, in a person, if you have Venus Saturn, you might be a little bit of a late bloomer, but you tend to age very gracefully, or you just get better as you get older. You get happier as you get older. It's like The longer you're in existence, the better you feel, the better you look, the better you generally are. So that's the same thing when you have like synastry between two people, that this is going to get better the longer this is in existence, this relationship itself, this third entity is in existence. So on this energy, on Thursday, whatever you're doing, whoever you're working with, whoever you are romancing, whatever it happens to be, if you're getting, if a cat starts to follow you home and won't leave you alone and just starts meowing at you, that could turn into a lifelong friend or something. You know what I'm saying? So it's very, very nice. Moon in Gemini trines Mercury in Libra. That's also very nice. Very enjoyable, very stimulating for conversations. This can also be happening in transit. So you might be driving back and forth. You could be on trains. You could be planning things out as well. Probably if you're planning things, you're in very like a flurry of discussion, like placing like all the little details, like, well, I like this, or I like that, or let's do it like this, let's do it like that kind of thing. So like, okay, Friday, here we are on October the 14th. On Friday, I'm calling Friday I Said What I Said. And here's the Eminem. Okay, let's come back to Eminem for a second here. So being like a little tween, like a little preteen, and just being so into Eminem and just appreciating that learning to rap brought me over a big thing, getting over the speech impediment. I would see him, just being a famous person, going through like turmoil and going through like being sued and being attacked and being accused of all these different things. And like at every moment I would go, I'll go, oh no, what's gonna happen to Eminem? Is he gonna be okay? Like, what's gonna happen to Eminem? What's gonna happen to Eminem? There's all these boycotts of him and like all of these legal issues, and and y'all, every single time that he had something like that happening, his basic response was, well, I think you kind of know, like a big middle finger. Like, that's why I'm calling this I Said What I Said, because every time he came out of all of it, he was like, fuck you, Miss Cheney, fuck you, Tipper Gore. Oh, like he was just like, did she just kiss him? Shoot, she's kissing him, dog. Like he's the real Slim Shady. He's like the real Slim Shady. So he every single time I thought there was gonna be something happening to Eminem, he just like, sorry, he's just so inspiring. He's just so awesome. He's so great. So okay, all right, let's move on. Okay, well, let me explain why I'm calling it I Said What I Said. So Moon in Gemini, which is such a big, like, normally Moon in Gemini, Mercury in Gemini, any kind of Gemini placements, it's not really like I mean what I say. It's very much like, don't hang on to what I'm saying. Let it go. Let it just flit in the breeze. Let it just go away. Let it disintegrate. Gemini people, Sun Moon risings, usually need to talk to other people out loud to understand what they think. To even form a position, to form an opinion, they need to already talk about it. They don't really do it all in their head and then the speech comes out. They work all of that internal head stuff in conversation and reading and little art, like all of the little things. So, this particular Moon in Gemini day, what are we on already? Friday? It's a little bit different. The Moon in Gemini will trine Saturn in Aquarius, trine Venus in Libra, conjunct Mars in Gemini, and square Neptune. Okay, so that trine to Saturn retrograde is telling me that this is very serious. This is much more of a serious, mature overtone. I'm cleaning out my closet. The commitment benefits you, so you do it. You can really see how being serious or being mature or committing to something or someone is going to benefit you. So it's like you go ahead and you don't have any qualms about making that commitment. Whereas Moon in Gemini or Gemini placements are usually like, I don't know what I think yet. I want that I want that space, and I want that flexibility, and I want that option. Mutable signs usually do not like to be pinned down and make any kind of commitments to anything. They like that. They like to live in the gray area, in that gray space, you know. So not this one. This Gemini moon on Friday, it's like you can feel where something, it behooves you to be more mature. It behooves you. You benefit from making this commitment or showing up more maturely so you can do it. The trine to Venus in Libra is very easy. Something about this is very social. Again, this is mutually beneficial. This is going to benefit you. This is going to benefit me, and we're all going to win. This is a win-win-win situation. Let's go for it. What else is there? Let's do it, you know? Okay, now the conjunction to Mars. This is where you're really meaning it. This is where you really mean it. Like Eminem singing in his songs, like he really means it. I mean, except at the end of White America when he's like, I'm just playing America. You know I love you. But, you know, he means it, you know. He means it. He really, so the conjunction of Mars is like, you really mean it. You really mean it. It's also easier for people to act on their words. So if they're saying that they're going to do something, it might not just be like Gemini hot air. They might actually like physically do it. So I'm just going to say, get this stuff in writing. Get it in writing, because the square to Neptune could be distorted. So nail down and verbally repeat details. Nail down the details, verbally repeat them back so that you will all understand what is being discussed, and then get it in writing. Okay. If you do all of that, then you can stay excited and it'll stay wonderful and it'll be great. Okay, Saturday the 15th. There we go. Saturday the 15th, I'm calling a lot of a good thing. We've got basically the moon in Cancer squaring Jupiter, retrograding in the sign of Aries. Definitely portion control your babka. Don't eat out of the whole container. Like, I'm a Cancer rising though, so, you know, but the portion control, because that's so easy to overdo. I might just do it again. But, you know, that's the guidance. It's just portion control. There's a lot of a good thing happening. That moon in Cancer just wants all of the, like, emotionally gratifying soups and heartiness and just like homey flavors, homey smell. I don't know if you guys can even see the candles I have. I have candles going. Where are they? They're like around here. I don't know if you saw them before, but they're here. They're happening. Oh, you can't see my little Halloween decoration. Okay. Well, it's there. A lot of a good thing Saturday. On Sunday, the 16th of October, I'm calling it take turns leading. And this is because that moon in Cancer is going to square over to Mercury in Libra, and it's also the day that Mercury leaves the shadow. So there's probably one more like little adjustment, that you've got to make. One more little adjustment. And this is like, I feel like this is that you agree on the what. You agree on the what, but not the how or the when. So it's like you both agree to go get groceries, but maybe one of you wants to check out online and go pick it up, and maybe the other one wants to actually like walk up and down the aisles. You know, something like that. Something like that. That's one silly example. You know, so there's just like a leadership thing. These are cardinal signs. There might be sort of like a frustrated goal on someone's, you know, maybe someone needs a ride somewhere, and you're the ride giver, and you wanted to do something. You wanted to watch like a video, or you wanted to, like, I don't know, do something else. But then you go give them the ride or something. You know, it's like, it's going to be something a little bit like, just take turns. Just take turns leading, you know, and just try to figure out how to take some of that little comfort with you as you go do whatever you're doing, or with whatever's happening on Sunday. Now, here's the thing. Mercury leaves the shadow. Freaking God, it's just been, when did this all start? Let's see. This started like, I think like mid-October, mid-August. I think this started like around mid-August, that this whole Mercury Mercury retrograde. Anyway, so Mercury's finally leaving the discussion. We're off the table now. We're finally moving on. You know, we've got the, you know, we used Mercury as our little private investigator to go and like dig up all of the little secrets, with the trines to Pluto digging up all of the little rocks to see all of the little buggies that we needed to see. So you've seen it all by this time. Sunday the 16th, you've seen all the things that have been dug up, and you get to move on. Because it's in Libra, because of what this cycle has particularly been about, you know where you stand in your own self as far as your personal boundaries. You also feel more solid about where you stand with other people, where you stand with others in your relationships with them. Okay, so you know where they stand with themselves because they've been making their needs clear. You know where you stand with yourself, communicating your needs, and you see how to move forward together, or you see where you're too far apart, or you just see some new things that are good for you to know. Okay. Personally, I reclaimed a lot of really wonderful witchy little things that I kind of forgot about for a long time over this retrograde. It's like 8th house, 8th, 9th house practices. So that's one little tidbit. It's very, very, very fun. Part of that has been doing this box. And so that's another thing that I'm just like really, like I said, very excited to offer to you guys, because it's something that's so, I think it's very difficult to understand or even sort of discern when something is even because of a psychic attack or any kind of energy attack. And you can call it whatever you want. You can call it spells, you can call it prayers, you can call it energy work, whatever you want. You always, I'm very empirical. You always take a look at like how you feel first and foremost. How are we on time? We're doing okay on time. Okay. Oh, except I did. Okay, we have one deck today. It is the Tarot of Sexual Magic. So we shan't be opening up and clarifying these cards. They will speak and they will be where they stand. Ooh, mother of pearl. Oopsie. Okay. There we are. Okay. Tarot, what message am I here to deliver for this week ahead, please? What can we expect in this week ahead? We've got the 6 of Pentacles and we have the 5 of Swords. Okay. So this is telling me that there is someone, or there's some kind of element of, here's the thing with Libra energy, is that can be a little bit saccharine. That's a new word I learned last year in 2021, is saccharine. Saccharine means when you are fake. You're nice, but you're not kind. You don't mean your goodwill. It's just, it's like almost too sugary. It's just too much. It's fake and it's not authentic. It's, what is on my face? It's not authentic. It's not real. And, you know, it's a bunch of bullshit. So there's some element this week where there might have been someone insincere in their generosity or in their nicety or in their, I don't know, like whatever that happens to be, whatever like the goodwill is, or whatever the, you know, especially if this is having anything to do with like outside appearances. So I was gonna say saccharine. So Libra can specifically be very concerned, and all the cardinal signs a little bit, but particularly concerned with the aesthetic, with the appearance, and having the appearance of good relationships, or having the appearance of being good in relationships, or being in the appearance of having a strong working relation, whatever it happens to be. And this 5 of Swords is way selfish and cutthroat, and I'll throw you under the bus any chance I get to get my way. And you know, so it's just, I'm just picking up this very insincerity. So I'm gonna say, if you've already been wary of someone, at this point in the game, you've already seen so much. You've seen Mercury re-enter Libra like 3 times already. You've seen 3 oppositions to Jupiter. so I'm going to say go on what you've been seeing, what's been consistent, what's already sort of been there. And there might just be like a very confirming moment. Let's take a look at the bookie book. What's the Six of Pentacles, please? Boredom, the magic of the cut apple. Oh my gosh. So I've been loving my apples, you guys. I just can't stress enough. An apple a day. It's just been wonderful. Okay. The magic of the cut apple. There are loves of the past and loves of the future. There is only one love today, and it must not be neglected. Oh, this is almost like just sort of like appreciating, what's right in front of you. So this looks like a little bit of not really a portal of two-way flow of abundance. This is definitely someone that is overlooking someone or overlooking, appreciation, or, this could have been your experience sort of, I don't know if this is like in the past, but I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not really getting like love relationships. So I'm not really getting that this is like a crush situation. This is more like decorum situations. So if you've been having not even just board meetings, but if you've been having committee meetings, let's say your committee's been meeting every week for the past since mid-August, and there's someone on the committee and it's like, I don't know, like some drama. It's more like that. It's more like that. This week is actually a lot better for like love and romance relationships, I would say, because it's more where it's more supported of having that be very honest and clear and vulnerable, whereas like work situations or networking situations or even just community situations, there's it's a little bit different. It's not so it's just different. And so and even in family situations, it's not always very welcome. So you might have to stand up for yourself. I love the Five of Swords for people that are very mousy or that are very, I don't know why my hair came out like this. Oh, I know why. I took a nap and anyway, okay. Anyway, not okay. I'm getting with this Five of Swords that you honestly just might have to just see it. It's something that don't spend too much time on anything or anyone that's being saccharine. Just don't let anything pass, don't let anything slide. This is definitely the week to correct any sort of imbalances and let me disabuse you of that illusion. And you might have to be Eminem a little bit. I like the Five of Swords if you have to be Eminem and go into a situation and balance those scales, because there has not been an equal give and take in relationships. Or you might have to set some things straight, let someone know where those boundaries are. So remember, that's the purpose that anger serves in our lives, is to alert us when someone is pushing on or has crossed or is crossing that boundary. That's the correct use and the correct function of the fleeting emotion of anger. Okay, Five of Swords, here we go. Shaking things up. Magic of the purple flowers. You must overcome the fear of judgments, shame, and a sense of inadequacy. You must give yourself a good shake and take some risks. So another thing with all of this Libra Aries opposition is not owning other people's insecurities, not owning other people's biases, not owning other people's baggage, essentially, and not really taking responsibility for energy that's not yours to take responsibility for, energy that is not yours to own. So there might be something where people are just sort of projecting their insecurities and just reacting from a very they're using you to reaffirm their subconscious addiction to fear or shame or guilt or rejection or like whatever, so there's going to be a little bit of a shake involved with some people, maybe one person, it looks like, and just kind of, you might be pulling your energy back from a person or a situation, or you might be, this is like, you need to be very honest with yourself when you need to cut off the access, cut off the proximity, to cut off the privacy that maybe you've granted someone to you. And like I said, that could be family, that could be, it can be love, but this is probably more where it's a little bit maybe trickier, maybe like a, I mean, I'm just using board meetings, so it's like really easy and simple, and like I remember board meetings and like Robert's rules and everything, but you know, it could be any sort of, you know, situation. Let's see what else is here. What else am I supposed to say? Ooh. Oh, the Tower. Damn. Well. Okay, she's giving me a story to tell you. It'll be very interesting. The Tower, betrayal, the doll. A dangerous situation, betrayal, deception, or imminent breakup. Protect yourself from this threat by using all your own resources. Here's what I'm getting. I'm getting that when you do this is almost like pruning. This over here, it's like pruning. You avert a Tower moment. You avert some kind of disaster. So honestly, just really following your heart, listening to your intuition, and honoring whether that's like sacred rage or just like regular emotion of anger coming up. You know, when you allow people to keep hurting you, that's throwing off karma. That's throwing off the law. And karma is just cause and effect. Karmic relationships, past life relationships, that is just a continuation of the cause and effect, because you're both causing and defecting in each other's lives in multiple lifetimes. So when you have a karmic relation with someone, let's say you meet someone and you hate them on sight, or they hate you on sight, you could be triggering something in their subconscious from this lifetime. You know, maybe they have internalized misogyny, maybe they're internalized misandry, whatever it happens to be, or it could be a carryover from a past life, making it a karmic connection. So in that past life, maybe you killed each other. Maybe you both stabbed each other and you bled out for hours, for 12 hours in a house. And you had to die with this person, both bleeding for hours. And you hate each other. And now they're your manager at your workplace, and now you're at the coffee shop. You know what I'm saying? So, or maybe now that's your dad, and maybe now that's your cousin, or whatever it happens to be. So I'm getting that you can actually head off that Tower moment, but here's the thing. When you don't do justice to yourself, when you continue to allow people to hurt you, and you don't put up your boundaries, then you put off karmic justice. You're owning energy that's not yours to own, probably because of ego, that you want to change another person. It's so much easier to change yourself than to change other people. I wouldn't even go there. I mean, that should be going without saying, but let me say it. I wouldn't go there. Ever. Love someone as they are, exactly as they are, or move on. When I have crushes, I like them for who they are, exactly as they are. That's giving them space and room and support to grow. You have to be a good discerner. That's where the discernment comes in. That's why the Mars square to Neptune is like, you know, people are going out there without, what's that called? The pilot with the tower, going without direction, sort of flying blind, like from The Aviator. I didn't think it was possible, but I wore out that DVD. That's the only DVD that I ever wore out in my life. The Aviator plays in gray and green and magenta. That's it. Yeah, but it's right over there. So anyway, I watched Being John Malkovich. It was in between Being John Malkovich and P.S. I Love You. I know, two completely different vibes. Being John Malkovich won out. Like I said, that Friday, Saturday, with the, you know, I had to take care of some stuff on Friday, and then I had the celebration of the Chicago fire on. I mean, not celebration, the anniversary of the Chicago fire. We're not celebrating the Chicago fire. That purge law is not real. It's just having to do with taking out the bail, so it's not disproportionately affecting minorities. You know, people can just pay and get off on bail, and that's all they took away. So now what it's going to be is that everybody's going to go before a judge. And here's what's really interesting is that I think it might be a little. This is always interesting when they change all the laws and everything. Is that everyone's going to go before a judge instead. that judge is going to decide whether, you know, looking if you have a prior record or not, decide if you're a threat to the community, you're a threat to everybody else. But when I read this, like when I got clarification on like the purge law and everything, and I was reading about this, I was thinking of that scene in Spice World where Baby Spice is like sitting there in front of the judge with all of these like like murder weapons, like medieval murder weapons, and they're like, "Did you do it?" And she's like, "No." You know, and then they just let her off like so there's like a whole other, you know, some gone girl is going to go before a judge and get totally let off of without bail because she's just so convincing. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we'll see how that plays out. I was only trying to say, I was just trying to say that it's not the purge law in Chicago. All right, the tower. So when you throw off the karmic justice and you are disturbing the balance, because when someone hurts you repeatedly, when, you know, when all these bad things happen, you're supposed to put up a boundary. You're supposed to get angry enough to put up a boundary, get out of the situation as fast as you can, and, you know, try right, try really, really, really hard. And but when you stay in toxic situations too long, when you stay in bad relationships too long, or when you stay in the pattern too long, it's you take on that karma. So with this tower, then things really, but that's like the wake up. You continue waking up in those moments. You continue waking up and saying, how did my life get like this? Like, how did I get here? You know? So I remember I confronted my family once. And here's the thing, I think they were telling some childhood story inaccurately. I think that's what it was. And in their defense, I don't remember what it was that made me speak up. Like, I don't remember the specifics. I think it was that they were telling a story and they lied. They lied about the retelling of a story, or they either lied about a specific story, or they just recharacterized like my childhood. And so, but here's the thing. Here's the thing is that I corrected them with my dying grandfather, like in between us. This was at the hospital, in hospice. My grandfather was dying. Dying. He was dying in hospice. No more expectancy, you know? And I was outnumbered 3-1. All women. One of them was Libra. And they're Libra, Virgo, and Sagittarius. And I spoke up. I said, whoa, whoa, whoa. So that's not how it went. That's not how it was. And they were gaslighting me. And I said, no, you tripped me in the dark. I fell down. And I told them all these bullying things that they were doing, because they're much bigger than me. Like, physically, they are much. I was always a little bit on the noodly side. Like, noodly, like noodly, Jack Skellington, you know. So, and they just have different body types. That's all. So, easy for them to, you know, pick on me, and they're older than me, and I corrected them, and they still gaslit me. But at that point, even when you say your truth and you tell what happened and you say the truth of what happened and what was said and what wasn't said, and you make that correction, it doesn't even matter if they validate you or not, because you'll be happy that you spoke it, that you did it. And I don't know, I thought I maybe that was not the right moment, but I felt like it was I was Eminem. Like, I'm telling you, I am like the Eminem of my family. And I have boundaries with those people. I don't talk to those people anymore, but like, clearly. But, you know, having my grandfather there to see it, not to see it because he wasn't like awake or anything, but just to have him like witness that, I felt like he was on my side. And he knew that they bullied me. He knew that I was different than the entire family. Like, he always knew that, and we had our own special bond. He's a Pisces. My father has a moon in Pisces. But we had a special bond, and he gave me some very wise words that I will, you know, cherish forever, Grandpa. And, you know, so I feel like the tower moment would be more like that. It'd be more like, you know, calling somebody out on something. You're gonna be like, there might be like an Eminem moment. All right, last but not least. I did on time. Oh. The Ace of freaking Swords. Oh, it's totally gonna be a showdown. It's totally gonna be that. I love what she's wearing. Lingerie. Chef's kiss. That. Sorry. A little private dance party here. Yes. Yes. Ace of Swords, bonding. The magic of the knotted red rope. Accept that bonding means giving of oneself. It means accepting doubt and transforming it into trust. There you have it, folks. Transforming the doubt into trust. So here's the thing. There's either going to be some kind of masterful restructuring. I meant to say massive, but then I just like, I don't know what happened. There's either going to be some kind of masterful restructuring of a relationship, of a connection, because of some big truths coming out. I don't know what the static, I did so much to offshoot that. But anyway, you're either going to have this big restructuring, reformatting of maybe like a primary relationship, or maybe just some, but it's like the truth laying it down. Like, so whoever the Eminem is, I feel like it's probably going to be you. Like that Six of Pentacles with the Five of Swords is like, I need to put me first. I need to explain what's working for me, what's not working for me. And like I said, this can of course be like romantic situations. I'm not really getting that though. This feels way more like this feels more like a work thing, or or like a committee meeting thing where there was maybe gray space, there was ambiguity, and then someone kind of exploited that. The Five of Swords with the Six of Pentacles, and because it was never written, or because it wasn't logged, or because it wasn't, you know, whatever, that it was exploited. And the Tower and the Ace of Swords is the reckoning. It's the reckoning ball, you know. So I'm gonna say people that have been maybe just getting away with stuff are probably not going to be very happy this week. And guys, Pluto stationed direct on Saturday. Did you feel it? I sure did. And I'm a Pluto station direct in Capricorn, where it's been since 2008. I almost said odd age, since it's been since 2008, and I'm a Capricorn myself. And so all of us Capricorns are coming alive with power, internal power, like self-possessed power kind of a thing. You guys wait for Capricorn season. The end of this year going in, you just wait for Capricorn season, darlings. You're absolutely going to love it. Anyway, so it feels more like that. It feels more like clarifying some very important, and this might even be, you know, if you teach a class, if you're in a school room and your students have just run amok. I remember I had my students put their cell phones in my Hamburg basket that I bought in Hamburg when I was in Germany. When I was at the fish market, and I made them all put their, and they hated them. These were not kids. These were like people in their like early 20s putting their cell phones in a basket. But they were very, they were like throwing things in the air, and they almost hit me with one. So I was very, you have to nip it in the bud in the beginning, because then it's gonna rot. Okay, and any little, you know, you can't do that. You can't let people treat you that way. And so my thing was, in the beginning of the class, all phones go to Hamburg, and everybody puts their phone in the bin, and that's just how it has to be. So it's kind of more like that, except you didn't do it at the beginning. You know, maybe stuff had to happen, or maybe things went, you know, for me in my case, I had to just like become an adult. I had to be like a grown-up, because here's the thing. I wasn't bullied by just other children. I was bullied by teachers, and I was bullied by adults. And you were too. Some of you were too. The reason for that is because they knew who you were before you knew who you were. They could see who you were going to grow up to be way before you knew. Way, way, way before you knew. And that's why they took the opportunity when there was an imbalance in power to bully you, to try to kill it out of you. Everything that makes you unique, everything that makes you very you. They tried to stomp that shit out of you early because they felt threatened by it, even then. That's what this feels like. Okay. So, it could have been something like that. In whatever context this is happening. And then the Tower, the Ace of Swords, like all of this is just going to be whoever, it's going to be that kid. And if you're a kid watching, if you're a young person, if you're under, a certain, you won't be little forever. Remember that. You will not be this small forever. You will not be, you will grow up. You will get your driver's license. You will get your first paycheck. You will get all those milestones to freedom, and you will be able to do whatever you want, and you can be whoever you want to be, and no one can stop you. All you have to do is want it bad enough and keep trying. Don't ever give up, because being who you really are is always worth it. There's no friendship that's worth more than you being who you really are. There's no job. There's no family. You can grow up, you make your own family. Okay? Good. Let's get your divine feather. I've always been like this, you guys. I've always been like this. Any guidance from my people for this reading for this week ahead? We have the Goose. Your dreams and desires are calling you to action. The journey begins today. So it looks like for some of you, this is a very meaningful week for actually taking action. So this is like some, actually there might be some breaking of, I don't know, like leases, contracts. I mean, maybe marriages. I'm not really getting that though, but like some kind of, like this could be an agreement that you took that does not benefit you, that did not serve you. They could have made you believe that this was in your best interest, but it's not. And so you're like, taking that back, or you're redrawing these lines or something. But it's about action. It's about acting on the truth, and let the truth change your life. And then bottom of the deck, you have the Meadowlark. Smile. You will soon experience a wonderful journey of inner discovery. Maybe there's a portal to your mind, and you'll be able to discover it this week, like being John Malkovich. I love you guys. Take very good care. I will check in on your energies next time, my loves. Until then, I'll see everyone over on the Patreon. Until that time, many beautiful blessings upon all of your beautiful heads, darlings. Mwah.